Helldivers is going through another post-update high offset by a tech debt and poor optimization driven low that we really haven't seen since the game launched back in February 2024. Now, we've been through numerous "we're back, it's over" peaks and valleys with Helldivers. I mean, at this point, it's kind of par for the course with Arrowhead, but this one feels different, at least to me. Now, as good as the new Into the Unjust update is, it's also being weighed down by a 2-ton anchor of old tech debt, lingering bugs, and it's in the worst technical state the game has ever seen. If you're new here, please consider hitting subscribe and ringing the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. And now, let's get stuck into all the latest with Helldivers. GamesRadar pretty much sums up what is currently ongoing with Helldivers, at least for many players within the community. Here's what they say. Helldivers 2 players fume over performance issues. Arrowhead's CEO admits, quote, "It's not good enough," but promises a fix for some of the most immediate things is being prepped. With a further sub-headline that reads, Helldivers 2's new Into the Unjust update seems to have worsened some technical problems. Helldivers 2's new Into the Unjust update brought some underground terminid hunting action to Arrowhead's co-op shooter, but it's the technical bugs giving many players more trouble. The patch has exasperated gripes about the game's performance and consistency, and it's intensified player complaints to the point that Arrowhead's CEO 𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆 and rightly argued that most of any games community exists offline, and you can't just listen to Reddit for feedback. That being said, the folks on Reddit and Twitter and Discord and in Steam reviews absolutely have a point here. Quote, Arrowhead, this is unacceptable at this point, writes Astrils_no, fix your game. Here's another quote, Arrowhead, this is just not working, echoes Substantial Ad 5221, highlighting a previous comment from 𝗤𝗏𝗏 in which he confirmed Arrowhead is, quote, not planning any dedicated only performance updates. Huge swaths of the community look just like this. Lots of people are enjoying the new content, but performance issues are also the talk of the town. 𝗤𝗏𝗏 waded into the discussion on the official Helldivers 2 Discord server, acknowledging some new and ongoing problems. Another user rather helpfully suggested that the devs, quote, not ship updates that have poor optimization and make the game unplayable, prompting another response from the CEO. Yup, 𝗤𝗏𝗏 said, we've taken a bunch of new corrective steps behind the scenes, but the effects of those won't be seen for a while. 𝗤𝗏𝗏 specifically addressed the size problem that Helldivers 2 is facing on PC, with the latest update pushing the game over the 140 gigabyte mark. It's also being looked at right now, he said, of the game's gigabyte gluttony. Another user asked, quote, how does AH test the game themselves without it crashing all the time? Do they have quantum computers? 𝗤𝗏𝗏's reply here was maybe his most candid, not enough. In a quick follow-up, he added, quote, for some bugs we are aware, but testing tells us they are rare. But then a couple million more play the game and it's not so rare anymore. This is often how bugs slip into the game, especially live service games, and it's also partly why so many online games break at launch. This is notably not the first time that 𝗤𝗏𝗏 has offered assurances for upcoming improvements to Helldivers 2 performance and stability, and there is unavoidable time lag between development goals and deliverables, but the game's community really doesn't seem to be souring on the subject. Here's hoping Helldivers 2's performance can soon be brought up to the standard set by its gameplay. As always, I'll drop a link to this GamesRadar article down in the video description so you can check it out for yourselves, or you could just Google search the topic, Helldivers new update problems, and a slew of other articles will show up for you. Here's one from Rock Paper Shotgun that reads, Helldivers 2's Into the Unjust update has caused an uptick in crashes and Arrowhead are working to isolate fixes. They go on with, I tell you how common they are, but I'm one of the folks still waiting for the update to install. Or how about this one from GosuGamers? They say, Helldivers 2's Into the Unjust update slammed for performance problems. Play, freeze, crash, repeat.
Damn!
And believe me, I see the comments. I read what you have to say when I post my Helldivers videos. I see the frustration building and boiling over with the game, and at least on the public side of Arrowhead, we've seen their comments and responses from all sorts of developer team members. Here's one that says, "We're aware of the problems. We are monitoring the crash rate and we'll get to you on a fix. 100% get it. Performance is something we've talked about a ton today. It's not good enough. A fix for some of the most immediate things is being prepped," which was quoted, by the way, in that GamesRadar article. "We've taken a bunch of new corrective steps behind the scenes, but the effects of those won't be seen for a while. As it relates to performance or content, some of our updates have introduced new content and been able to improve performance. We track closely so we know, but this update and too many others have been one or the other." Now, since GamesRadar also mentioned Steam, the player reactions to the latest Into the Unjust update are being received as rather mixed on that platform. This is never what you as a studio want to see when you just released a major content update. You've got Xbox hitting the platform now just a week ago. You released the ODST Warbond based on the revered and iconic Halo ODST theme, and then your negative reviews are starting to roll in and match that of the positive ones. Now, this Steam review really sums up the current Helldivers experience right now, at least for a portion of the player base. And really listen to this one. I think it's something special. 320 hours on record as of posting this review with a not recommended label. Let me start by saying this is one of my favorite games. It is easily one of my top 5 of all time. With that said, I cannot recommend this game in its current state. It is horribly unoptimized, filled with game-breaking bugs. It has over doubled in storage size since launch, and repeated promises by the dev team to fix issues have gone unfulfilled. When the game launched, I reliably got 70 plus FPS on the highest settings. Now I get 50 at medium. When you close the game, there is a significant chance it completely locks my computer up, requiring a hard restart. The same happens when the game crashes, and it crashes a lot right now. The audio frequently breaks, requiring a game restart. There is a laundry list a mile long of bugs relating to the actual gameplay, but the only ones to be addressed in a timely manner are the ones people find fun. It took 2 years for a certain booster to no longer benefit enemies as well as you. This review is a plea. I really want to leave a good review, but I cannot do that when the developers simply do not seem to care that they are sprinting headlong into the hellfires of irreversible technical collapse. After Tuesday's lackluster game update, mostly centered on EMS, smoke, and stun changes, a few items really became evident, which we can now break down into a pain point overview. Pain point number 1, constant disconnects and crashing. Just full stop. Nothing else matters if someone on Xbox or PlayStation or PC either can't get into or stay in the game without crashing out, or when they do make it into the game, they keep getting disconnected to that game. I'm personally not seeing either of these on my PC setup. That being said, just because I'm not seeing it doesn't lessen its effects on other players. And one comment I keep reading is, "I keep crashing out," or "I keep getting disconnected or dropped from the party." It's happening far too often. Back in July of this year, 𝗲𝗏😃 stated that once the dev team returned from summer vacation, they would be focusing 100% on bug fixing and optimization, which brings us to pain point number 2. Just like that Steam comment we read through, I used to see rock steady frames and the game pretty much ran like butter. Ever since the enemy AI update, either in February or March of this year, I forget, the game has run anything but buttery smooth. Dropping down planetside used to drop to 5 FPS, and thank God that was fixed, but there are too many times that you can feel the game code is holding on by the very skin of its teeth, teetering on the edge of just crashing out. Optimization, smoothing out the rough edges, and improving the player experience were said to be the focus. But what players are currently seeing, boots on the ground, while playing the game, is far from a smooth and consistent experience. Pain point number 3, and this one is PC specific, but the game file size is getting way out of control. Helldivers 2 is at 140 gigs. Now, by comparison, Cyberpunk 2077 is 86 gigs. And one of the kings of file size bloat, Ark Survival Ascended, with all of its maps, is only at 164.5 gigs. Now, I'm going to confess, I'm not a game coder, but that sounds off to me. Almost like Helldivers files are duplicated or triplicated over and over again, which may be one of the contributing factors to performance issues with the game. That has to be fixed. Also, while we're on the topic of PC fixes, why are we still sticking with GameGuard, our kernel-level anti-cheat that does nothing to prevent cheaters? When players are hitting public lobbies ahead of a war bond with the new war bond gear already equipped, you know, number one, that your anti-cheat is a total failure, and number two, those cheaters are not afraid of any punishment or repercussions due to the system you currently have in place. Arrowhead, it's time to ditch GameGuard and start over with a better option. Pain point number 4.
Why is there no fucking audio?
Okay, I mean, that pretty much sums up that one. Chargers running around like ninjas, bile dragons making no sound as they begin their strafing runs, weapons making 0 sound when full auto firing, and the list goes on and on. This has been ongoing since the beginning for Helldivers 2, and if anything, it has gotten far worse over time. It's time to bring in some heavy guns in that department, divert the necessary resources over to that aspect along with all the others we've already mentioned, and get this thing sorted out once and for all. We need the game sounds to work properly. And finally, pain point number 5, QA and testing. Oh yeah. Now this one's tough because as players, we always want the new hotness content and we want it fast and furious, but there's also the issue of delivering that content too fast without proper testing and feedback. We seem to keep falling back into the we're cooked valleys, even with this latest Into the Unjust update, because of bugs and glitches constantly falling through the cracks. For instance, the new warrior strain that goes underneath the ground, which prevents us with a new enemy variant and tactic to fight against, which I guess is at least is something new. It's something kind of cool, unless you are the party host, in which case trying to dodge away from those warriors when they come up from underground is nigh impossible. They have insta-tracking, and as the host, you're going to take hella damage each and every time they pop up. Kind of in that same vein, but FPS slamming way down to 15 to 18 frames per second when someone sets off a 500 kg is unacceptable. And you know, there's a list of other items that have given the time to test things out I'm not saying it would have been a guarantee here, but again, those items might have been caught prior to release. One less bug making it to the live build is one less item added to the mounting list of issues. And we can't even begin to discuss the topic of weapon balancing, enemy AI, and general wonky behaviors. And of course, there's much, much more here we could add to the list. Because if you can't connect to the game, you keep getting disconnected from the game or dropped from the party, what the hell does any of that extra stuff matter? Now, I'm not all about doom diving and dunking on the game, and I'm just kind of being honest here with you and breaking from script. Because as you may have seen from today's Into the Unjust Squad Up video that I posted to the channel earlier today, me and the crew had a blast taking on the new missions, enemies, and of course, that boss fight versus the Hive Lord. I gotta say, I also love seeing a bunch of new Team Green recruits hit our ranks, and together, the hype and buzz of new players squatting up as we head off into the gloom to tackle all this new content. In fact, that's a great question for chat. Of all the content updates Helldivers 2 has ever seen, which was your favorite or least favorite? Or how about listing both, your favorite and least, in a comment? And let's see where the community lands on this topic. Now, trying to step back from the game and take in all this feedback, there's a lot going on here. I can totally understand a very basic statement from a disgruntled player that simply reads, "Fix your game." Because when you strip away the performance, the disconnects, and all the rest of the BS currently affecting the game, it's still effing fun to play. Again, when it's working properly. And for someone out there who is chain crashing or having their SSD cooked, getting disconnected over and over again, or getting destroyed by a rampaging charger because they never heard them coming, all of this affects the user experience. And for us as players, when we hear the studio talking and promises of updates and optimization, words are just words. Telling players you hear their concerns, and as a studio, saying that you are working on fixes is all well and good, but as they say, actions speak louder than words. Update that known issues board to include all the major player concerns, not just a few that are there right now. Put out a studio roadmap for improvements and updates with actual dates players can track and what is coming in those upcoming updates. If the team is swamped right now, it's probably time to hire outside help from support studios to iron out those persistent wrinkles and get this game into a solid working state. Because when the newness wears off this content and the honeymoon phase is over, those tough player complaints you're receiving right now as a studio, those are going to get even louder. Okay, lots of topics to discuss for today's upload, and as always, I want you to be honest. I want to see your thoughts on the game down below in a comment, but I also ask that you keep it civil. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. Thanks to all of you and to all of our current channel members. And until the next one, this is 𝗲𝗲𝗹𝗹𝗱𝗃𝗲𝗃 signing off.